Nadia, that was amazing. I feel like I should put a red shirt on and also that I should up my Star Trek graphics game. My name is Michael Waitze, as Nadia mentioned, and I would like to welcome everybody to today's Fireside Chat, where we're going to talk about how to harness technology in creating a digital-first experience. I'd like to say good afternoon to all of our participants and to Prasanta Roy, the Group Chief Technology Officer at Tune Protect Group. Let's just jump right in. Prasanta, how are you doing today?
Hey, Michael. Nice to see you again. I'm doing great. Thank you.
It's great to see you too. Look, I just wanted to jump into the philosophy to start with. How does Tune Protect define its own philosophy around a digital-first experience? And by accomplishing that, what are we really trying to do?
So when you talk about digital first, it's not only on technology, it comes across all the functions, right? When it comes for underwriting, when it comes from claims, when you are talking about the experience you are trying to give to the customers, right? I mean, 10 years ago, it was customer service. Now we are talking about customer experience, which is very different from what it was a decade back, right? So technology is just an enabler, or I would say in today's world is a business driver also. So whatever Tune Protect is trying to do, technology is just enabling that. It goes from underwriting, from product creation, for automation, the business processes, or if you put all those together, then that's the digital, the impact is at the end, you see the digital impact to the customer, the end customer.
So when you first joined, right, you come out of a telco background, if I remember correctly, which is inherently a digital experience. So when you first joined Tune Protect and you looked around, did you feel like there was some kind of mindset that needed to change to create a really sort of digitally native, digital-first experience?
Yes, I mean, coming from telco has been a pillar when it comes for technology innovation all this while, right? So when I came in, when I saw things, yes, there was gap. There were processes that were manual. I won't say it's fully automated now, all of it, but we are going there slowly, right? I mean, and we have started transformation. The good thing about transformation is there's no end date. You start and the journey continues, right? And then it's a very different world. I mean, it's not just you can use technology because it's a FSI, so you have to take care of all the regulatory things also, right? So it has to be a good balance between technology and where you do, how do you take regulatory things seriously and deliver experience, which was not so much in a telco or in any typical e-commerce world.
Right. And when you think about what needs to change, when you're really digging deep into digital transformation, what are those things that need to change besides the mindset itself?
Yeah, so first and foremost, as you rightly pointed, mindset is the culture, right? You need to have digital-first culture, right? You do things digitally. It has to get embedded in the DNA, and it's not part of the senior management who will lead. The entire organization has to go along with it. When you are talking about it, people has to believe the vision, what the management is putting forward. They have to be part of the journey. Once you have that, then things will fall in place because then you pick up areas which one you want to focus first and which one you can do it later, right? So it's not just one straight answer to it, but it starts with a culture, then other things falls in place.
So you mentioned this great comparison between customer service, which I think is something that everybody is familiar with, and then customer experience, which I think is new, I think, to most people. And when you think about that customer experience and building it out, particularly if it's digitally native and digital first, against which companies do you think Tune Protect is measured? In other words, is the benchmark other insurance companies against which you compete and in some cases partner? Or are there best-in-class experiences that you have to match to make your customers, your existing customers, and even your new customers feel like it's a digital-first experience?
Yeah. So not typically we follow any insurance companies, but there are some insurance companies who are the leaders. If you look at in US, Lemonade is someone, or Trove is someone who has done things very differently than a normal insurer would do, right? So there is a lot of learnings from there. There are learnings from e-commerce companies also. So we are trying to learn what are good from there and what we can embed and we can deliver to our customers, right? It also depends on how our business is transitioning. So when I joined, I saw our company was predominantly B2B or B2B2C, right? So there was not
Right.
directly B2C customer kind of a thing. Now that we are changing our business model, accordingly we are trying to change the experience also we want to give to our customers. And let's not forget that in today's world, the customers also see things very differently. If they see that they're not getting what they want, they will, just a click of a button, they will switch the provider.
Right. Yeah, and it's very easy, right? So
Right.
there's no friction between having one provider over here and one provider over there. And it's one of the reasons why I believe that the customer experience is so important, particularly if it's digitally native and digital first, right? And if you're measuring against e-commerce companies, does that mean that you actually talk to them, you work with them as well? Not only from a potential distribution standpoint, but just to understand what their best practices are so you can then incorporate them into what you do as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, one thing I have realized after coming into insurance and with our CEO Rohit, that it is all about affinities in insurance world. It's not like a typical e-commerce kind of a thing, what you do with a Lazada or an Amazon, right? So we have to work with partners. And when you are working with partners, and we do work with, so we work with Shopee, we work with other e-commerce players. Very important is how much you are ready technologically to support them, because they are way ahead, because they did not have any legacy, these e-commerce companies, right? So they have built everything on cloud and all. So from our side also, we have to be ready when you have APIs which are open, you have a solution which are modular, and then it can quickly connect to the partnership and you can start distributing your products across the channels.
So what is that like actually when you're using APIs and a modular design to connect to other potential either distributors or partners? In other words, does that also need to be a digital first experience, particularly in the time of COVID where going to their office may not be a possibility and you have to organize all of this virtually, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how we have built our platform around APIs. We have created kind of a API playbook, which is digital. So means a partner can come in, and once it's approved, the partnership is approved, which is also digital, means you don't need to fill up pen and paper. We are going live with totally digitally module system in coming weeks. The good part of it, the partner comes in, they can register themselves, they can see what kind of APIs they would need, and they can create the program themselves without talking to us, because it's all transparent to them whether the API is working or it isn't working, right? So we have opted an open source platform, which we have then revamped completely and made it very much focused to the partnership market, how we are going to support them.
Right. Is it fun for you as a CTO to sort of redesign stuff from scratch? Do you know what I mean? I know you're not building it from zero, but just when you go through that redesign from a technology and a technologist standpoint, is that fun?
Absolutely. So when I came in, I mean, I found there was a product, but it was a kind of a legacy software, and the technology was aging. So to modernize that, right? I mean, what I have realized, most of the insurers globally, because we work in other markets also, Vietnam, Middle East, and other markets, we have found insurers are no different than what Tune is or was, right? I mean, they have a legacy core system which is probably 15 to 20 years or even more old, right? So we have created,
depending.
Yeah, so we have created a platform where you can distribute products. You have the automated underwriting. You have the what do you call the modular version, which sits on your legacy core. So it's kind of a hollow core middle office, and it connects through APIs. So means a product which today might take 6 months, in this platform we can do it in maybe in 4 to 6 weeks. That's the beauty. Or sometimes even sooner if it's a bite-sized product.
Right. When you talk about interacting with your partners through sort of a frictionless API environment, right, which is great because it makes it easier to integrate for them and for you. But there's also a B2C part of this, right? Where your policyholders and the people that are buying the policies are individuals, not necessarily just companies. Can you learn something both ways when you're developing that technology to make both sides of that frictionless as well and more seamless?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is a continuous process, Michael. I mean, it's not just we develop and give it, and then we collect the feedback also, and accordingly we update for the next product how better it can be, right? So we are talking about, for example, in Middle East, we were so much popular around travel products, but now we are going beyond travel and we are going into pet insurance and in other areas, right, which has potential. So absolutely we take feedback from the partners as well as the customers also in that case.
Understood. Does Tune Protect as an entity need to, for lack of a better term, recreate the wheel from a technology perspective? Or can you use existing tech in a way that's maybe just more customer-centric and user-friendly?
No, I mean, I don't believe in recreating the wheel. I mean, the world has moved so much forward. Technology changes every 5 years, right? By the time if we start recreating the wheel, again, some new technology come and hit you, right? I mean, and again, you are going back. So when you are saying that technology is an use of cloud, right? I mean, cloud is not only, it's cheaper probably is not the right word, but it's actually time to market. In today's world, time is the essence, right? So we have to do stuff where you can do things much faster, quicker. So in cloud, you can have a platform where you can deliver your product and use the ecosystem of plethora of tools, which we, in our principle or in our philosophy, we are more into open source. We don't go into licensed software as much as possible. When we build stuff, we build all the new age technologies, using the new age technologies of microservices and all, so that you can quickly port it to any cloud or any in-house data center or private cloud if needed. So that's the beauty. Right. I mean, and this is not something we have started from scratch. That I have a great team. I mean, I must say that, right? I mean, it was that when I came in, they were lacking the direction. So I gave them the path that this is how we should move forward and all, and then rest, they keep on constantly evolving themselves, and that surprises me most.
Right. Can you talk in a little bit more detail about how, what's the right way to say this, how the prevalence of the cloud, just the increasing power of compute and the ubiquity really of bandwidth has changed the way you can develop and deliver product, not just to your end customers and policyholders, but also to your partners as well? Because those three things are really important, right? From a development standpoint. Yeah,
so all the products or what we have built in technology is cloud agnostic, number one. It's cloud native, but the simple reason we also keep on-premise also into consideration because of the regulation. So we cannot just be a normal e-commerce company where they're much more open to go to cloud and adopt it. But we do take cloud for where we consider it platform as a service. So there are tools available in the cloud where you do the life cycle management of your products and all through the uses of cloud and its associate product. I mean the software available in the cloud.
Got it. Are there decisions that need to be made around developing everything in-house? And we went through this when I was at Goldman Sachs. Do we build all that trading stuff internally, or do we go external and incorporate others' innovations into our offering or into Tune's offering as well? Like, how do you make those decisions between internal and third party?
Yeah, so Michael, you have been in this field for long, and you have seen how much insurtechs have come up over last few years, right? And everyone has their own niche. Someone brings an AI ML, someone brings a platform. So we carved out our niche. So our niche is the API, our niche is the middle office. And then other things we are not going to build, we are very clear about that. We are not a software house where we keep on building those things. For example, a chatbot, there are thousands of chatbots available in the market. In fact, for ours, in our case, we went through probably a dozen of such chatbots before we finalized something. But we do participate and we do partnership with them so that it has an integrated platform. So when we go out beyond Tune Protect to our partners, we can give them an integrated platform, which includes from a middle office, API to CRM to chatbots, whatnot.
It's a great answer, right? And I don't think there's any fixed way to determine whether you do third party or whether you do internal. And part of it depends on where your expertise is. And you're right. We weren't a software house at Goldman Sachs either, but we did have incredible teams, just like you did. Are there other experiences that you'd like, when you look at the landscape now, are there other experiences that you'd like to add that you just haven't had a chance yet to complement the existing digital-first experience?
Yeah. So one of the things I am personally very bullish on is voice, right? Voice would take over. So text will go down. I mean, probably the market is not yet ready. I'm not in Southeast Asia, at least I see that. But in over time, it will come in. I firmly believe that, maybe in few years of time. So keeping that in mind, I would like to play a small video clip to show how voice-based buying can influence your buying journey in insurance, right?
Talk to Tune Protect Insurance.
Hello. Welcome to Tune Protect. What kind of insurance are you looking for, motor or travel?
Motor.
In order to get you a quote for motor insurance, I would need some additional information. What is your vehicle's registration number?
SS8747Y.
What is your IC number?
7005251259998.
Which state is your vehicle registered at?
Johor.
Thank you for the information. Your vehicle registration number is SS8747Y, your IC number is 700525125998, and your vehicle is registered in Johor State. Could you please confirm to proceed?
Yes.
Thank you for the information. Please provide a WhatsApp mobile number to which a quotation should be sent.
1137920307.
The insured amount of your vehicle is 28,800 Malaysian ringgit and the premium is 545 Malaysian ringgit and 48 sen. Would you like to proceed to payment for this quotation?
Okay.
We have sent a link to the quotation via WhatsApp to 11379-20307. Kindly click on the link to proceed with payment. Thank you.
So if you just let me comment for a second, this is voice activation and voice control and voice communication obviously is very important. You have some incredible companies. I'm not sure who your partners are. One of them that we've spoken to and actually had on our show is Unifor. We've had Ravi Saralgi. They do an incredible job. There are people that do this. And particularly in a COVID world, and tell me where I'm wrong, where people don't even want to touch things anymore if they can speak to a machine as opposed to having to type in their PIN numbers or whatever number it is, their ID numbers. If the voice control is actually effective, which this obviously is, it just levels up your ability to serve your customer. And getting back to what you said, it should drastically increase their customer experience. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. And what you have seen at the back end, there were 4 systems working. you talk of a payment gateway, you talk about a WhatsApp channel, you talk about the back-end code system, right? So all these systems are working in tandem to give a frictionless experience. I mean, due to limitation of time, we had to cut short the demo, but it's, instead of 3 minutes, it can be done in 10 minutes. But we are ready. I mean, that's what I wanted to demonstrate, that if tomorrow voice takes over, from a technology standpoint, Tune Protect is ready to give that experience to the customer.
Right. And again, this gets back to the question that I asked you earlier about, you have to have the cloud, you have to have this drastically increasing compute power, and you have to have incredible bandwidth and ubiquitous bandwidth. Otherwise, you can't do this, even if you can write the back-end software. And that's where all of those things come together. And I think when people think about the technology that insurance companies like yours are using, they have to understand that that's why, one of the reasons why those types of services are even possible. The last thing for you before we get to the Q&A is, when you think about it at scale, how can your technology, Tune Protect's technology, play a role for both your business partners and your strategic partners?
Yeah, so I give you one example so you understand how we can scale, right? So in pre-COVID days, when ERSA used to run promo, in a day we used to issue 40,000 policies. And that's purely
40,000.
on 40,000. When ERSA runs promo, people crazily goes and buys it, right? And insurance is also embedded out there. So at a peak volume, we had done 40,000 policies in a single day. So our systems are in a way ready, it's scalable, but at the same time modular, which means if you don't want certain things, we are not going to give it to you. We only give you what you need for your business and to grow it together.
Got it. Okay. I'd like to move on to the Q&A. If there are people out there, if any of the participants would like to ask questions, I'm presuming that you would put those in the chat. Oh, you have another question here. Let me read this out for everybody. Among other insurers in Malaysia where Tune Protect see themselves as a digital insurer, what is the difference between Tune and other insurers? This is a differentiation question, right?
Yes, so one of the difference, or the main difference is we are nimble-footed, right? We don't have heavy baggage. I mean, insurance in Malaysia has predominantly driven by agents and agencies, right? It's not only that we make ourselves digital and the agents are left behind. We are trying to bring up a system where agents can also sell their products digitally. So they can have their own branding, they can sell it digitally, so we are all in this journey together. It's not that we go ourselves and they are left behind and there is a disconnect around it. So that's the biggest difference, that while we are transforming ourselves, we are transforming our partners also as much as possible, so that we are in this journey together.
Understood. Are there more questions out there? Okay, this is a good question, actually. How can immersive technology revolutionize risk control in insurance?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. So it can do a large extent, and I have seen few technologies using AI and machine learning on managing risk, right? The maturity of it has to be proven because it has been new. It's early days, I would say so. I mean, it has not been in a large scale, it has been used. It has been used in bits and pieces, so there are certain use cases where immersive technology are being used to manage the risk. And I'm sure the acceleration in future on this one will happen pretty fast. So it can play a huge role in coming years, I would say.
Understood. Okay, what else do we have from the audience? Okay. What longer-term trends does Tune Protect see to usher in for the future?
If you talk about from a technology standpoint, it will be more and more hyper-personalization which will come in insurance. Today it is there in e-commerce sector. Insurance, it is lacking, or in bits and pieces, probably it is happening somewhere in some corner of the world, but hyper-personalization is something which will come in insurance also when the millennials and all, they come in and their demand is, don't bog us down with lengthy cover notes and or you get yourself hide under all your papers, right? Give us simple things, and how do you make it simpler, insurance simpler, right? So the longer term trend will be how can you make it simpler? How can you make it accessible for all classes?
Perfect. Okay, I think we have one more question from the audience. This is great. How has technology changed since you joined Tune Protect, and what were the drivers for this change?
I take the second one first. What are the drivers? The drivers was monolithic system, point solution, aging technology. I can keep going on and on. I mean, what are the drivers, right? And more importantly, the business transition part. So the business is the driver. The more we move towards retail, your model has to change, and technology has to live up to its expectation at the same time. And how has technology changed? Yes, it has changed completely, I would say. I mean, we were using aging technology, and now probably we are at par with leaders. I mean, leaders across board, because I come from a telco background, and I have tried to bring that knowledge in telco, what we have used, when telco is one of the vertical as a technology leader. So because of the lack of the time, I can't go into the specifics, but I could say that the technology, the languages, the products, the solutions which we use, which are at par of any good or one of the best industry-related solutions, I can say. But
Yeah,
one of
technology
the points. Sorry, I mean one of the things is open source, so that the cost of ownership remains in control. It is microservice enabled. It is container enabled, so that it can be deployed in the cloud sooner than later. Then the other part of it is the experience which we want to give to our back office team as well as the front office team.
Perfect. I mean, the reality is that whenever it comes to technology development or technological development, it's just going to constantly change. I mean, that's just the reality. We see it in every industry, particularly in insurance and financial services. Okay. I would love to thank you, Prasanta Roy, the Group Chief Technology Officer at Tune Protect Group, and the entire team at Tune Protect for this fireside chat today.
Thank you,
very much.
Michael, for having me.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you.